Hoy there, what is happening? I am back with another video where I talk to the camera when I talk about basketball. And we're going to continue talking about like Australian basketball stuff because it's the draft next week and we have like 4 Aussies that look like they are going to be drafted, and that is fantastic news for Australia, and I am very, very keen to see them go. Like, I'm talking about, we know who I'm talking about. We're talking about Alex Tui, who's looking like in the 20s to 30s, Tyrese Proctor, Rocco Zikarsky, Lockie Olbrich, who's gone from absolute not even getting invited to the combine to being a second round pick. That is going to be massive if it does happen. I do expect him to go in the draft because he's just looking better and better every single time you see him play. Now, I do want to focus on the Aussies. I do want to have a little chat because a lot of people don't really know a lot of the Australian guys. They just see the names and they see a little bit of tape, but they don't really see like the impact that they've had over the last year or two. Guys like Rocco, guys like Alex Tui have been in the NBL in the last 2 years, and they look better. Actually, Lockie Olbrich's been in the last 2 years as well, and you just see the growth they did from like their first year to the second year. It's like a massive difference, and you can see why they are just trending upwards in the draft rankings. Now let's get into it. Let's start off with Alex Tui. He's like the highest rated guy right now. He's last mock draft by ESPN. He was 37. I honestly see him. He could be a late first round. He could go in the 30s. He doesn't have like, I don't think he's a set in a spot. A lot of teams are going to look at him. He's 20, 21 years old. He's still very young. I've watched a lot of him because he plays for my Sydney Kings, and he was one of their best players this season, which is a big thing to say considering he is, the leap that he made from last season to jump up to be one of their most reliable guys. He can pretty much guard 1 through 5. Maybe not in the NBA. I would say he's a reliable 5 guarder guy. 1 through 4, I would feel pretty comfortable. Some ones probably not, but he's 6'8". He's very lanky. He can handle his own, which is very promising. This is what like Australians can do. We can defend. I mean, don't look at Josh Giddey, but everybody else, we can defend. That's where we get our name. Patty Mills is another one, but he's a bucket getter. One of the big things, like a lot of teams, like a lot of general managers say, the way you will hear this a lot on the broadcast, Alex Tui doesn't have any real faults in his game. He doesn't have any real defects. Like, that 3-point shot has gone up so much better. It's actually becoming a reliable shot. Don't think it's super reliable yet, but if you leave him wide open, he can hit the 3. That's not the best thing you want to hear. Like, if he needs to be left wide open, I mean, slight contention sometimes, but not super consistent right now. But it is something that has grown a lot in the last year, and you can just see that there is still ways that it is going to keep on growing. Now, I'm going to try and do like draft comparisons as well. I've seen so many draft comparisons, and it's either just another white guy. So like I've seen Austin Reeves, seen Bogdanovic. Neither play his position. He's going to come in as a 3 or a 4, more than likely a power forward because he's 6'8" and he's a big body. So I don't know why they keep comparing him to guards, just because they're white as well and they kind of look similar. It's kind of weird. I think the best person to describe him is he could end up being like a Pascal Siakam. That's his ceiling if he fulfills his scoring potential that he could be. But he's definitely got that two-way, like a Robert Covington. I feel like that's where he's going to end up, like Nicholas Batum, that kind of style, that two-way wing. That is very valuable on a lot of playoff teams just because they don't want the ball, they don't need the ball, they can shoot the open 3 when they're available, and they can defend their ass off, which is what Alex Tui does. And that's what teams are going to want out of him, and that's what he can actually provide for them. But yeah, he's definitely a guy, like, I would love my Sixers to get him. I don't think he'll end up with the Sixers, like other teams that just need that actual big wing. He's that ideal player for them. All right, next up we got Rocco Zikarsky. He is probably the youngest guy. He's 18, just turned 18. He's still very young. He's played 2 years in the NBL. He's 7'3". That is the appeal of him. He's like an absolute mammoth of a man. He's agile as well. There is potential of a shot. Like, I see a lot of that. Like, potentially he could develop a 3-point shot. I wouldn't rely on that. I don't expect him to become like a Vucevic or a Miles Turner that can just drop 4 threes in a game. At most, he's somebody, if you left wide open, he will knock down a 3. He's got a good touch for his age as well. Like, he's obviously developing very rapidly. If you look at his stats though, that's probably the thing that's going to hinder him a little bit. Like, especially coming out of Australia, he only played about 10 minutes a night. He wasn't playing a lot. He wasn't getting a lot of play time, and it was affecting how he looked on the court. I don't know what the issue was there because honestly, I feel like he deserved to get more minutes. how are you going to help him develop if, you're not going to play him? Like, why would a next star come to Brisbane now if they don't think they're going to get the play time? Like, he showed glimpses of it, but they just didn't seem to rely on him as much as like they potentially could have. Now, he did come in to like early drafts as like a potential lottery pick because of his size and how young he is, but yet how good he has a feel for the game. He has dropped pretty low into the 40s. I do think he could be an absolute flyer for a team in that late first round, probably in the 30s. I do see him more of as a second round project kind of player because he's not really going to be getting any playing time this season. He will definitely be like, a team will take him on. They will just start developing him. They'll send him down to the G League. They'll get him some reps, get him some actual playing time, because I don't think sending him back to the NBL is going to help his career. I don't think him being a draft and stash kind of guy is going to help his development as much as certain teams may see that for him. Lockie Olbrich, on the other hand, draft and stash him might be the best case scenario, since he can continue to develop and he will more than likely be the starter for the Illawarra Hawks this season, while Sam Froling is out with that torn ACL. But he's somebody who I'm like super interested to see like where he ends up as well, because a lot of teams need that big. He will definitely be a backup big in a few years. He could potentially be a starting big depending on how well teams actually choose to develop in it, if they actually want to believe in him. I think he's worth it. I think he's going to be a future Australian Boomer. He always proves it when he does play for the Boomers. But to like give him a draft comparison, I feel like it's really hard right now. Like, I've seen like a Zach Edey kind of comparison just because they're super big bodies that can block a shot really, really well, and they've got a good feel for the game. I feel like that could be a good rim protector kind of player. Don't want to compare him to Rudy Gobert because that defensive side is potentially there. Like, he's really got a good shot. Like, he's a really good shot blocker of what he's done in the NBL. But offensively, he's leaps and bounds in front of where Rudy Gobert is. So he's like a weird one where I don't actually know who to compare him to. Like, it's hard because he's of what he is. So Jakob Poeltl seems to be his draft comparison. I don't know. It's hard because of his size, so you just feel like he should be somebody who's that 7'2" and above. But like, you can't compare him to like a Porzingis or Wemby or whatever because he doesn't have that three ball and he doesn't have that unicorn kind of feel to him. Now let's talk about the guy that didn't play in Australia, Tyrese Proctor, who I haven't actually seen a lot of. I've seen highlights and that is about it because I don't really watch college basketball. So I don't really want to spend too long saying what he is and what he isn't, because I see a lot of reports and I see a lot of highlights, and that is my scouting report on him, because it is kind of hard for me. Don't really have the time to watch college basketball. But from what I've seen, he has had like a massive breakout season. His three-point shot has actually come around. He was a bit of a struggle the last few years, and now it actually looks like it's the real deal. He's played at Duke. He knows that he's not the number one option on a team, which is actually really good for a lot of these younger players, that they realize that they know their role. He's a combo guard. He's a two-way player. He can defend. Australian, he can defend. He's like 6'5" as well, so he's a really good combo guard. He could even slide into the three if needed. I feel like his draft comparison's just got to end up being like a Dante Exum. Just because he's another Australian, he's a good slasher, but he can actually shoot the three ball. Dante can shoot the three ball now. So he's kind of progressed quicker than what Dante Exum progressed as. And Dante was a top 10 player 10 years ago. Now we've got him. He's in a late second round. Should be higher. Should definitely be higher for what he did. Like, did you see him March Madness? I watched that. That's good stuff from him. His shooting was like his biggest rough patch and like his biggest concern going into like the last few years. But to see that it has grown to where it is, and he was like 7 from 9 in one of the games, it's definitely going to be like. But this is one of the players that there are people that are going to know more about him than I do. I'm just going off what I have seen and what I have read, which is a lot of what I'm basing a lot of my information on Tyrese Proctor. I'm excited for him. I'm a big fan of his. I am very hopeful that he does become and he sticks in the league and he gets to where he should be, and he ends up playing for the Boomers as more than likely a bench guard, considering our backcourt is going to be Dyson Daniels and Josh Giddey, even though neither of them are the most quality three-point shooters, be the most kind that I could be about it. But in terms of his draft comparison, again, I'm probably not the best person to ask about his draft comparison. I'm just going to say like a Dante Exum, what Dante Exum is now compared to what he was when he came in as a rookie. So I think that could be a good starting spot. Like, they're both around the same height, but I think Tyrese Proctor has a bit of a higher ceiling as of right now. Like, from where Dante ended up, I feel like Tyrese Proctor could end up a bit higher. Like, he could definitely be a part of a good team, like, coming into the league. He doesn't need to be in one of those developing teams where he's one of those players that can come into an actual team that's competing right now. Same like Alex Tui. Alex Tui could just get dropped into one of these competing teams and just fill whatever hole they need nicely. Okay, and finally, we're going to talk about Lockie Ulrich, the guy who didn't even get drafted to the Combine. He had to go through the G League Combine, and he absolutely balled out, dominated, got invited to the draft Combine, and then he became pretty much looking like he's going to be a second-round pick, going from somebody who wasn't even on anybody's radars, looking like he was struggling to even make the top 100 list of these mock drafts last year. Finally getting some recognition for what he is. He won the NBL championship. He was the starting center on like the game 5 where they won. He stepped up majorly. He is like a pass first big if you need that. He's really good high IQ. His draft comparison is Sabantas Sabonis, which I think is like perfect for him. He's not as tall. He's only, I think, 6'10", so he can look like he's a bit smaller of a center for some teams, but I think he can run that small ball really well when teams do want to run that. He's very agile. The three-point shot is a bit shaky at times. I do think it has potential to actually evolve into something like Sabonis's three-point shot, which could probably shoot 32 to 35% from the three. If he's like left open, he could shoot 2 a game and it will be fine. Like, he's not the end of the world kind of thing. But he's definitely the guy who he's very intriguing to see what he could end up being, because he hasn't had the hype a lot of the guys. Like, he wasn't in that next stars class. Like, he wasn't the high profile next star like Alex Tui or Rocco was. He just pretty much got in, did his thing, got recognition, and now people are actually realizing what he can be. More than likely going to be a draft and stash kind of guy. Get picked in the 50s, that's fine. Like Luke Travers was a few years ago, spend another year in the NBL, which I think will be really good for him, because he will be starting, as I said earlier, for Sam Froling, who is that torn Achilles, and then he can just keep getting better and better, so then next year when the teams call him up, he's ready to be a rotational piece. Like, I think he definitely has that potential. Like, teams that need a backup center, I think he's somebody who should really, really be looked at. He can definitely join in like a rebuilding team, or if a team's already built and they just want like an extra piece, he can definitely be that as well. Especially teams that don't need somebody right now, but they're like, in the future, more than likely we're gonna need a center. Lockie Ulrich could be our guy, and hopefully he is. Hopefully he does get that opportunity. So that's all like the 4 big Aussies that looking like they're going to be drafted. There's like Eisen Amansa, who played as the next star. He hasn't got the hype that he originally had coming into the draft like last year. I don't think it's his fault. I think it's just the fact that a lot of other guys kind of overtook him from where he is right now. I do think he is more than likely going to be like a two-way signing after the draft, kind of like a Trenton Flowers, who didn't actually get drafted but then got that two-way with the Clippers. I think he might be something like that, because he definitely is good enough to get one of those contracts. And then we've also got like Ben Henshaw, who has dropped out to go back to college, or go to college to make that NIL money. Do not blame him at all. Would love to see him back in the NBL, because he will be the starting point guard of the Perth Wildcats right now, because they're in shambles and they need somebody like him. But he has decided he wants to go to college, which is fair enough, but apparently he's got a GPA issue. That's a story for another day. And then we have the Alex Condone issue, which he decided to go back to Florida. Fair enough. He wants to be the face of that team. He wants that more NIL money, and then he thinks he's going to be a first-round pick if he stays for another year, which I honestly think he could be, so I don't blame him for doing this. I mean, I feel like he would have been a first-round pick, but he just didn't get that guarantee, so then he decided, I'll go back to college, play another year. Worst comes to worst, I'm in the exact same spot I am right now, but I'll have more money in my pocket. Fair enough. Do not blame him for that. Anyway, that is my pre-draft rundown of the Aussies. I am very excited for this draft. It's going to be a big year for Australia. And yeah, let me know your draft comparisons for these guys, because it is very hard to come up with some of these draft comparisons. It is very hard. Anyway, I will see you all next time.